Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 18th of March. Good to have you aboard, part of the Believe Podcast Network, and presented as always by our title sponsor, Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. And of course, the tournament is here. The brackets were released last night. Bet Online is your bracket headquarters with the best bracket contest out there and odds, lines, info on every game and every round right up until the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or mobile devices and even track your bracket real time all the way through the tournament. Head to Bet Online today. Get in on all the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. So glad to have you guys aboard, starting your week with ZASLOW Show 2.0. I love you a long time. We had a busy weekend. You guys who joined me on ESPN Radio, that's awesome. I hope that everybody's ready to start the week. We got tournament action. You got the Heat yesterday. Oh my God, the Heat yesterday. The Panthers in a little bit of a funk right now. Your favorite little hockey team. That's okay. They'll get past that. We got a lot here happening. And of course, big NFL news. Dolphins, by the way, they started to officially announce today some of their bigger signings. Like they announced Jordan Poyer today. They announced Kendall Fuller today. So that stuff's starting to become official. I imagine they'll introduce them to the media soon, so you get to meet some of your new favorite players on the defensive side of the football for the Dolphins. It's all happening. So let's start out here. Let's get right after it. Let's get to a little bit of what happened last night. All right, so you guys know how I like to start the show here with a little bit of what happened yesterday. Maybe you missed it. I don't know. And specifically the NBA's two NBA games that I was especially interested in from yesterday. The Milwaukee Bucks minus Giannis. Giannis has missed some games recently. So minus Giannis, the Bucks beat the Suns last night, 140-129. Now, why was this interesting? So, I had to take a little sip of my vitamin water. I'm sorry. So, the Bucks win 140-129, but I'm sorry. Giving up 129 points. And then you look at this Suns team, giving up 140 points to a Giannis-less Milwaukee Bucks. I don't believe in either one of these teams. You guys know that. The Bucks, they're going to win a lot of regular season games because you got most nights you have the most talented player on the floor, and a lot of nights you have the top two talented players on the floor. With that formula, in an 82-game season, you're going to win a lot of regular season games. But this team doesn't defend. I don't believe in them for a second. And then you look at the Phoenix Suns. I don't believe in Kevin Durant. You know, for me, you allow 140 points. I don't believe in Kevin Durant. I don't believe in this team defending. Look, Kevin Durant, in 13 years of his career, when he has not played for the Golden State Warriors, when he joined the greatest regular season team of all time, a team that was already a champion, a team where Steph Curry was the most important player. We know that because they had already previously won a championship. Steph Curry was their most important player. When Kevin Durant is your best player, when he's your top guy, it is an almost certainty that you won't even get to the NBA Finals. He's made the NBA Finals one time as the top guy on his team, and that was back in 2012 when the Miami Heat took that ass. This is not an opinion. This is based on evidence. When Kevin Durant is your top guy, it is very unlikely that you will make the NBA Finals. I don't believe in either one of these teams, Milwaukee Bucks or Phoenix Suns. Then you look at the other game from yesterday that I took note on. The Dallas Mavericks beat the Nuggets 107-105, and the Nuggets have been playing very good basketball since the All-Star break. Big time win for Dallas there, and Kyrie Irving, look, he is as unlikable a guy as there is in the league to me, but Kyrie Irving, a crazy game winner. like a lefty floater from 20 feet out at the buzzer. Crazy finish. And the Mavericks win 107-105. So that right there is a little bit of what happened last night. Now let's get to the good stuff. The good stuff, obviously. And by the way, I do want to throw this out there. Tonight you may be saying, Zaslow, where was It Still Real to Me? Your wrestling podcast. I love it every Sunday night. We're trying something new where I think we did this last week or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. We're going to come at you right before Monday Night Raw tonight. So, and by the way, the Heat play at 7:30. If you're looking for a little, not even a Monday Night Raw preview, we got AEW stuff to get to tonight. Will Ospreay especially. Excuse me. The Rock, we had a Rock concert the other night. We'll have more on that coming up. Maybe in big deal, not a big deal today. I don't know. No spoilers. But we're going to have a new episode tonight. We're going to live stream It's Still Real to Me at 7 p.m. this evening. We'll get you caught up on all the happenings, and we'll do a little WrestleMania update as we are less than 2 weeks away now. 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks. We're less than 3 weeks away now from WrestleMania. By the way, I think I told you guys this. April 6th. WrestleMania is 2 nights. It's April 6th and April 7th, Saturday and Sunday night. Of course, April 6th is also Final Four. WrestleMania night 1, April 6th, I'm going to be coming at you with a WrestleMania preview show, a WrestleMania special on ESPN Radio. Like, that's crazy, right? You know, one of my program directors, this was a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, was like, I don't know if you're going to want to do this, Zaslow, but we were thinking it's something we'd really like to do. We want you to be the guy. Are you interested in doing a WrestleMania show? I was like, yup, whenever you want to do it, however long, I'm in. You don't have to sell me anymore. I mean, ESPN doing WWE stuff. You may remember they did a lot of WWE stuff. My guy Jonathan Coachman, who, by the way, when he was at ESPN, when he was an anchor there, and by the way, Driving the Line every Monday morning. That's your sports betting brand of record. Jonathan Coachman, that's his brand. And I'm with him every Monday morning. I'm with those guys. So if you missed it this morning, I gave some picks. They were both involved in the Miami Heat and 76ers tonight. You can go to youtube.com/@drivingline. Every Monday morning, I'm with those guys. So go check that out. I was with them today. Now, when Coach was at ESPN, they did a bunch of WWE stuff. Like, they had like a partnership with WWE. That went away. I guess they just didn't feel it was worth it. It's just so huge now that it's really cool that I guess they're giving it some more consideration. And they asked me to host a WrestleMania special. Night 1, it's also night of the Final Four. I think we're going to be before the Final Four, and that's going to be April 6th on ESPN Radio. So I'm hosting it solo. I have a bunch of guests and whatnot, but that's going to be really cool. I'm super excited about that. And thanks to anyone who hung out with me over the weekend. I got some messages. Yo, Zaslow, we heard you all weekend long on ESPN Radio. I did 4.5 hours game day with Courtney Cronin this Saturday afternoon. So anyway, I love being on there, and I love that you guys are listening to me. And I love, of course, that you're here with us right now on ZASLOW Show 2.0, most importantly. We'll get to some tournament stuff. First, though, you guys know how I'm going to enjoy that tournament, right? Now, I'm not talking about tomorrow and Wednesday, where you got the first 4, right? The play-in, or do they call it opening round? Whatever they call it, it better not be called first round anymore. Remember a few years ago it was called first round? Get the fuck out of here. First round? No. That was called the first round. And then on Thursday, I think they called that second round. And then on Saturday, they called it round of 32. Get the hell out of here. The first round of the tournament is Thursday and Friday. Everybody knows that. So I think they call it either first 4 or they call it opening round. Anyway, I'm not so interested in those games. I mean, I'll keep an eye on it on the periphery. Although I'll tell you, I am as locked in, I'm as dialed into college basketball right now as I've ever been. And it's happened with me a couple times now since I've been doing shows on ESPN where I don't think I know a whole lot about the topic that we need to be covering. And then you give me just like 2 or 3 days to get acclimated, and I'm full go. So I'm practically a college basketball expert at this point. But anyway, I got some stuff for you as far as the tournament goes on Thursday and Friday. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, listen, I'm some kind of expert or anything like that, but I'm pretty into it at this point. All right, before we get to all of that stuff, yesterday. So the Heat on Friday, I like when they're on the road and they play the same team back to back. You know, these NBA player loves two things more than anything else. They love to complain and they love to not play. And one of the things that you could have them complain about less is the travel situation. And you wind up doing that when you have them play the same team, this case the Heat and the Pistons, Friday and Sunday. They're playing the same team on one trip. So that's less travel right there. I like when they do that. And they did that with the Pistons this past Friday and then yesterday. Now, Jimmy Butler didn't play in the game yesterday. The Heat won on Friday. They beat him pretty good. They beat him, I think, by 13, 108-95. Yesterday, you had no Jimmy Butler, so the game was a lot closer. And the Heat were ahead the whole time. The Pistons, they're within like 2 points, whatever, 4 points. The Heat were ahead the whole time. They never really gave up the lead, but the game was tight in the fourth quarter, okay? And Duncan Robinson, the Heat are up 92-90. There's 4 minutes left in the game, and Duncan Robinson, this is the start of the biggest sequence of the game. This is back-to-back possessions I'm going to give you. The Heat were up 92-90. Duncan Robinson, he gets a three, and then after the Pistons get a score, it was Duncan Robinson again.
Help. Robinson from deep in the corner. Kaboom! With a capital K for Duncan Robinson. He's only got 5 points in the second half. That's Robinson against Fournier. Shot clock at 5. Finds Jaquez for the score. Timely cut for Jaquez and a perfect one-bounce assist for Duncan Robinson, turning in a couple of big-time late-game plays.
Biggest sequence of the game for me there. Like I said, 92-90. Duncan hits that three in the corner with 4 minutes left. I mean, he was squeezed into the corner. Guy was right in his face. Shot clock is about to expire. Buries it. Nothing but nets. That puts the Heat up 95-90. Then the Pistons score 95-92. Duncan driving to the basket, which we know at this point. Duncan Robinson, it's my favorite thing. You know, I've told you guys this before. My all-time favorite, I think my all-time favorite moment as a Miami Heat fan, or maybe my all-time favorite performance, I should say, is Shane Battier in Game 7 of the 2013 NBA Finals. You know, where he came out and he hit 6 for 6 from 3. And it's my favorite because they needed all of them. The game was close. They needed all those threes, but also it was Shane's story. And he was terrible that postseason. Terrible. He got benched for the first time in his career. For the first time in his career, he was a DNP CD. And then the coach tapped him on the shoulder, gave him an opportunity in Game 6. Came out, he hit a couple threes. So the coach said, you know what? We're going to throw you back in the I think he was back in the starting lineup for Game 7. And he came out 6 for 6. And the emotion that he played with. And of course, after the game where he was almost crying on the floor, it's that story and what Shane overcame and what he meant to us in that game. And I've told Shane this before. It's my favorite Miami Heat moment. What Shane Battier did, not just for the team there, but what it meant for him, because it looked like his career was over, and the way that he helped them win the title with that kind of performance. It's probably my all-time favorite Miami Heat performance. And why am I bringing this up right now? Because Duncan Robinson was left for dead last year. He was a non-factor in the regular season. We all wanted them to trade him. We all wanted them to use his bloated salary. And then the playoffs roll around last year. And he becomes a big-time factor again. And then we get to this offseason. And we get to the regular season, and you look at what he's added to his game. He is an all-around player now. And this Miami Heat team, games like yesterday, dead in the water without Duncan Robinson. What Duncan Robinson has accomplished, the way that he has resurrected his career, this is something every Heat fan should be taking note of. I love Duncan Robinson's story right now. You want to talk about Cody Rhodes finishing his story in WWE? I'm more into Duncan Robinson's story right now. Duncan needs to finish his story, and that's the Miami Heat winning a championship behind this resurgence in Duncan Robinson's career. So I bring this up because Duncan yesterday, in the biggest sequence of the game, he hits that 3 to put the Heat up 5. The Pistons scored. It's back to a 3-point game. And the very next possession there, Duncan drives baseline, finds a cutting Jaquez with a great bounce pass who lays it in. The Heat go up 97-92 there with 3.5 minutes to play. To me, that was the biggest sequence of the game in a moment that the Heat needed those baskets so bad. So now, you fast forward about 90 seconds later. With 2 minutes to go, the Heat, they're ahead by 1.
Detroit. 2 minutes, 2 seconds left. A 3 on the way. And in! And the foul! A chance at a 4-point play for Mr. 3 himself.
Duncan counting the points right there with his right hand after that make.
Yep, Duncan Robinson was your boy yesterday. Again, 4-point play this time. They reviewed it. I actually thought that was definitely going to be a flagrant foul. They reviewed it, though. No flagrant foul. Just a regular common foul. Like, flagrant foul because he landed on the player's foot. I thought that's an automatic flagrant foul. Whatever. 4-point play. 101-96 Miami with 2 minutes to go. You get some breathing room. But the Heat can't hang on. Cade Cunningham hits a 3 to tie the game at 101. The Heat can't score. It's actually a turnover on Duncan. Down the other end of the floor, here's Eric Reed and John Crotty on the call as Cade Cunningham misses another 3, and the Heat get a chance to win it.
Seconds left. Tie game at 101. 4 seconds. 3. Get it off. Bam for 3. Yes! Bam wins the game with a 3. A happy ending in the Motor City.
Unbelievable finish.
That's what I'm talking about. How about that? Bam Adebayo. Bam now 3 straight games with a 3-point basket, and he does it in stunning fashion. I'm watching the game in the Zaslow Mansion family room couch. Obviously, I got an ice-cold Johnny Cuba on my hand. I mean, make sure you pick up a 6-pack of Johnny Cuba for yourself. Your local Sedano's, Presidente, Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas. European roots with that Caribbean soul. A refreshing German lager in a can. Official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. So you know I was feeling good yesterday afternoon. I got a Johnny in my hand. And make sure you always drink responsibly. Of course, don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra. Stay tranquilo. I pop up off the couch. I was yelling. I was so excited. And like I almost, if the game's at night, I don't want to do that. Maybe maybe my younger son Jordan's upstairs sleeping already. Or my wife's tired. Maybe she's asleep. But right when I jumped off the couch, I said to myself, it's only 5:30 p.m. I could be as loud as I fucking want. And I was yelling. I was screaming. I was fist pumping. I was so excited for the finish of that game. The Heat win it 104-101. I don't care that they blew a 17-point lead. I don't care that it's the Detroit Pistons. The Heat were minus Jimmy Butler. Of course, they're minus Tyler Hero, minus Kevin Love, minus Nikola Jovic. I mean, look, we got enough. We got enough. And the Heat, they get 2 back after that losing streak. So now 37-30 tonight at Philadelphia. Bam yesterday, 20 points, 17 big boy rebounds. Terry Rozier, who looks great now these days, 17 points and 9 assists. And your boy was Duncan Robinson, 30 points, 5 assists. He's averaging 3 assists on the year now, which is almost double his career average. 10 for 15 from the floor, 7 of 12 from 3. Duncan Robinson was your boy. So, I want to talk a little bit about, well, actually, first, let's take a look at what the Eastern Conference looks like now. So the Heat get that win yesterday, and they're still in that, you know, with how many games are we talking about left here? 15 games up? Does that sound right? Wow, 15 games up. That's it, huh? So with 15 games remaining, the Heat are 37-30, so 15 games remaining in the season. We are even in the loss column with number 6, Indiana. 2 back of Orlando, number 5. 3 back of New York, number 4. We really missed our chance with New York. Should have been able to capitalize with no Randall, no Anunoby. I mean, they got Randall back. They got Anunoby back now. And with losses to teams like Washington, the Heat kind of blew it there. They're still within striking distance of Orlando, the Heat are also tied in the loss column with Philadelphia. So this is kind of a big game tonight. The winner of this game tonight can jump up to number 6. The loser is going to drop to number 8. Now, if you're the Heat, you'd like to be in that 7 spot the way they were in the 7 spot last year, because you have 2 chances to win 1, and it's 2 chances at home to win 1. I don't mind if the Heat are in the play-in. I would love for the Heat. If the Heat are number 7, that's fine. Because here's the thing. Now, I'm not going to be afraid of Boston when the Heat play them, but if you want to see Boston no earlier than the Eastern Finals, being number 7 is the spot that you want to be. Because if you're number 7 and you win your first play-in and you clinch that 7th spot, you get Milwaukee in the first round. And then you're on the other side of the Eastern Conference bracket from Boston. You would get Milwaukee in the first round, and then the winner of right now, what is Cleveland and Indiana. I think that's the path you want, and none of us are going to be afraid of Milwaukee. You know how scared to death the Bucks fans going to be if they wind up having to face the Heat in the first round? They're going to be freaking out if they once again have to face the Heat in the first round. If you're Miami, the number 7 spot is actually a pretty good position. You'd get Milwaukee in the first round, and you're on the other side of the East bracket from Boston. So being in the play-in sucks, but if you got a chance to finish number 7, I'm into it. So that's what's at stake here tonight as far as the standings go. The winner can jump up to 6. The loser is going to drop to number 8. And, jumping up to number 5, if you were to play New York in the first round, be really fun. But then you get Boston in round 2. Again, you can't be scared. Nobody's scared of Boston. But I think delaying the inevitable to the Eastern Conference Finals is probably the best case scenario. And by the way, the NBA would probably love a Miami Heat versus Damian Lillard first round, considering all of the drama in the offseason. I think everyone would be into that. All right, so that's what's going on as far as the Heat. And I just want to reiterate something that I tweeted last night. Duncan Robinson. And I've mentioned this before, but yesterday Duncan, he had 7 threes last night. His first one last night gave him 1,000 for his career. Fastest in NBA history to 1,000 threes. Duncan Robinson is an all-time great Miami Heat player. I'm not saying he's an all-time great player as far as skill or however you want to sum that up. But as far as the list of great players, when we're talking longevity, we're talking skill, we're talking success. In Duncan Robinson's case, we're also talking about Heat culture. And what we mean by Heat culture is a guy that they found out of nowhere, an undrafted guy who they molded and who worked hard and not only became the guy he was, where in just his second year in the league was a major part of a team that went to the NBA Finals in the bubble, but then fell off the map and resurrected his career. Amidst all the trade rumors, amidst the benching, he came back and completely expanded his game. And now, we all want Duncan Robinson to continue starting and Tyler Hero to be on the bench when he eventually returns. What Duncan Robinson has gone through, the way that he built his career at the start and has persevered and lasted and now returned, no complaining about being benched last year, all the DNP coaches' decisions, no bitching and moaning and whining, no trade requests. You know what he does? When his number was called upon last year in the playoffs, he came out and he kicked ass. And then this offseason, he added all this to his game, where he's not this liability defensively anymore, where he takes the ball off the dribble, where he scores at the rim, where he can pass. He's averaging almost double his career assist total this year. That's Heat culture. Duncan Robinson, and by the way, this is Duncan Robinson's 6th year with the team. There aren't too many guys in Miami Heat history who have been on the team for that long. Like, we're talking Dwayne Wade, Alonzo Mourning, Glenn Rice, Ronnie Cycli, Chris Bosh, Goran Dragic. I'm at like 6 there. Keith Askins, Udonis Haslem. I mean, that's 8 guys. Bam Adebayo. So that's 9 guys right there. I'm spitting out off the top of my head. Are there any others? Like, I gave you those guys really quick, right? But if we're talking Duncan Robinson is in like the top 10 of longest tenured Miami Heat players, it's kind of significant if you ask me. I think he's one of the all-time great Miami Heat players. Like, I'm proud of him. I love what he means for this team. I love watching him out there. So that's a shout out right there to Duncan Robinson. You're my dog.